Assalamu alaikum everyone, hope you're well. The dream team is back. Hope everyone's keeping warm and safe. It's the last night of the lockdown, so we're going into different tiers, and 99% of the country is either in tier 2 or tier 3. As you know, here in West Midlands, we're going to be in the top tier, tier 3, as effective from tomorrow as well. So,
top of the league for bad reasons.
Yes. So we are covering a range of topics. If you want us to discuss something in particular, then please let us know. And today it's an open air topic, so we've got quite a few things that we will be discussing. Just got 30 seconds before we go live on air. Assalamu alaikum everyone, hope you're well, keeping yourself safe and warm as well. It is a rather cold and bitter evening. Can't beat a bit of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan as well, so yep, happy. Assalamu alaikum, good evening everyone. My name is Mr. Ali, your host on the Community Wellbeing Show, coming to you live every Tuesdays between the hours of 8 to 9 p.m. I hope you're well, I hope you're safe, and I hope you're keeping warm as well. And as always with my show for the last 8-9 months, I start off by just going through the latest figures that we have. You'll be glad to know that the lockdown has worked. We have seen a decrease of COVID positive cases by a third, by roughly 30% over the last few weeks as well. So that's a really telltale sign that things are being controlled as well. And we need to continue that into the festive period, and so we can come out the new year with a real buoyancy. And hopefully now what Boris Johnson have said, that the first week in February may be the last where we have this tier system as well. So fingers crossed, we all need to play our part. That's not to say that we are still complacent. The West Midlands figures are still relatively high, hence why we are in tier 3. So just to give you the latest figures, we have 25 deaths from COVID over the last few weeks, and in Birmingham the number of cases that we are seeing are 260 per 100,000, and that's fallen by 125 compared to the week previous. So that's where I'm saying that the cases of COVID have decreased, and roughly by a third as well. And if you look at the last 6 weeks of data in terms of the overall cases, unfortunately, Alam Rock comes at the top. So we had in Alam Rock 132 cases, but luckily the trend is on a downward trend for Alam Rock. Aston had 120 cases. They're also seeing a downward trend. Sparkbrook are seeing 113 cases, a downward trend. However, the only area where we've seen an increase, a bit of a spike is Handsworth Wood. They've got 107 cases, but their trajectory is going in a negative way. It's going upwards as well. So that's something that I'm going to just leave you with. So for those of us that are living in these sort of areas, please continue to maintain social distancing, continue to have that mantra of hands, face and space. On that note, it has been a very tough time over the last not only 4 to 6 weeks, but generally 9 months in terms of our pillars of our community, our elders who have passed away. And today someone is going to help me navigate through the different topics. So what we are going to do is, because of my guest's vast experience and knowledge and inside tips that he has, we're going to cover a number of topics. So we've got 3 or 4 topics that we're going to be discussing. If you want Tariq the legend, as someone has rightly pointed out, his view and opinion on anything, then please, here's a man who's taking time out this evening in order to be here. So please utilize him fully. So I was saying, Tariq, obviously, the number of cases are still relatively okay. They're not that low, they're not that high, but they're on a downward trend. but those people that are suffering from long-term conditions, those people that are elderly from a BME community, they still need to be very careful, haven't they?
Absolutely. So, firstly, Assalamu alaikum and good evening to everyone. And Mr. Ali, Mr. Ali smiling there. Mr. Ali, it's great to be back again.
Sorry, before Tariq forgot he's digging already. He goes, does Ali let anyone else speak?
Was that Tariq, was it? Yeah? Tariq, you're absolutely spot on there, yeah. But I've got in there now.
Yeah, over to you.
Okay, so no, jokes apart. But basically, you've gone through a number of figures there so far in terms of particularly the inner city where we are, and we're sitting in Alum Rock. And it's very unfortunate, yeah, like I said, top of the league for the wrong reasons. Yeah. But credit to the community, as you said, we are now on a decline. And inshallah, I'm confident that if we actually work together, yeah, and as you said, keep to all the messages around safety, I think we can come through this, inshallah. And there is a review, from my understanding, well before February, in a couple of weeks' time, after tomorrow, December the 16th or 17th. Yeah, 16th, where they're going to review the tier system again. Yeah. And tonight is a crucial night, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, in terms of the government having a vote on the tier system. And so that'll be interesting how that goes, because I know there's a number of MPs from the Conservative side, the backbenchers revolting against that. And then you got Labour abstaining.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I think that's a clever move by Keir Starmer, because what he will do is he will give us an indication of the numbers of that are revolting against their leader.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you a good indication in terms of how they will cope with that pressure. The government's been on the back foot from day one. We know that. But then, you know what? If it was any government, how would they have reacted? But we are where we are. This is the government, and this government, has to take responsibility and accountability. And tonight will be an interesting one. But going back to your point, in terms of locally, I think we're on the downward trend. And inshallah, with the vaccines approaching too, don't
steal my thunder. We're going to come on to that.
Okay, Tariq, but you know what? It can only be good for us into the new year, inshallah.
Absolutely. For those of you that are listening, we are going to be, covering quite a lot of topics. We're going to talk about some of the pillars of the community that have passed away. We also are going to be coming to touch on the subject of racism that is still alive and kicking in the 21st century, where some of you may have seen the young Sikh lad around Telford that was beaten up simply because he was Sikh. So we have someone from the Sikh community, someone by the name of Gurinder Singh Josen, who is going to come and give a bit of a background and his views about, hate crime and also racism against the Sikh community. But if I can, we're just going to read a few comments out, if I can, and then we're going to touch on those pillars of the community as well. So if you've got any comments, please, or I just want to say hi to Tariq. I know he's been rather, he has been isolating the last 9 months and we haven't seen much of him, but now's your chance. So Ayub Khan, mashallah, good to see Brother Tariq, that's Barrister Ayub. I know he's had a bereavement in his family as well. So Nasby Spares, Tariq is a legend, top man with a great heart and a great counsellor when he was representing Washwood Heath. A great medical rep as well. May Allah bless him with good health. Salam, Brother Ali and Tariq, Zafran Khan from Errington. Abid Hussain, Walaikum Salam. Ansar Ali is watching as well. Tariq Ali, he's already said, does he let anyone else speak? Tariq Khan for MP. Nasby Spares, Tariq, please come and stand as councillor in Heartlands Ward. And so there's a lot of love for Tariq Khan. So back onto the point that we were making as well. Oh, by the way, I don't want to sort of give his age away. Vasila, can you pass the Matai, please?
Please.
Vasila, can you pass the speaker?
Well, how do you think I look?
So, in case you don't know, it is Mr. Khan's birthday today, and
soon.
Well, in a couple of days' time. Couple of days. What's a couple of days between friends? So he has bought a box of Matai for us.
You asked for it, did you?
No.
You should be buying me this day, and I'm buying it for him.
No, fair play. It shows a heart of gold. So we'll be celebrating long into the night.
Spirit,
absolutely. So there we are. So back to a serious note, Tariq. We've had a number of deaths. So earlier in the lockdown, we have people like Javed Khan, the CEO of Overseas Express. We had
Brother Jamshed from Road. We had Mr. Nazir Awan. pillars like that of the community too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, that's right. And you mentioned Jamshed. We also know Nazir Awan passed
right,
away as well.
absolutely.
And the other one was Aslam Wassan as well. These
Yeah.
were 4 or 5 really heavyweight
And that was at the beginning.
at the beginning, yeah. And it just shows that this COVID hasn't gone away by any stretch of the imagination. And the last 2 or 3 weeks, it has hit the community, especially Alam Rock and the greater Hajil area, with real gutso in terms of we have, MP Tahir Ali, his father has passed away. Mr. Niyaz Ali, who lived on Boyer Road. The another one that I was really close to and had a lot of affection with, Aji Salim from Boyer Road as well.
Yeah.
He was living next door to.
Both from Boyer Road were on.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a road that you're very familiar with because you obviously were raised there, but also Councillor Majid as well. I know Aji Salim was very active on the humanitarian issues. He was. When it came to the scan, he played an integral part in getting enough signatures on there for Kashmir, for Palestine. He got loads of signatures to raise that as well. So these are just a few other ones. The other one is also not our very own Ikram Mirza. The last week, for those of you who are avid listeners of us, Ikram Mirza, the CEO, he owns Radio Aapki Awaaz. His father passed away as well last week, and obviously, he's got him buried now. But there's still a very raw emotion losing your parents, and at the moment he's still off as well, looking after his mother who's not too well as well. So let's pray for Ikram's mother as well at the moment. So you got that. I know you've had a death as well with one of your uncles, Haji Muhammad Arif, who I knew very well because they were friends with my father, and I also.
Weekend,
That's right, and I went to university with Zamir. So again, very tough time, and they were well as well. I spoke to Zamir, and he was saying, yeah, we got the phone call from the hospital around 6:30 saying everything's okay. Literally 5 minutes later, saying passed away.
Well, it just shows you can't take life for granted, can you? The thing is, 1 minute someone looks really, really well.
That's
the
right.
next minute you hear this news. It's tragic. It's a tragedy for the whole family and friends associated with
Absolutely.
That.
And then one of our fellow presenters, Umar Afzal as well, he passed away as well early on. And then over this weekend we had another senior citizen who was over 100 years old, Haji Muhammad Hussain, passed away. And one of our, should we say, light-hearted, prominent figures from Washington Road, Arshad Hussain, who's very, personable, very approachable and always joking around. He's passed away as well. So these are, and the reason why we are, mentioning these and celebrating these guys that were, we had the pleasure of knowing is because when they came in the 50s, 60s and 70s, Britain was a different place, wasn't it, Tariq?
Absolutely, Britain was a different place and they came here with nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, your father, my father, these gentlemen that we're talking about, these elders that we're talking about in the community, came with absolutely nothing, and they built the foundations here when they came. And the thing is, and those foundations were set for us, for our children. Now, when you look around, the world of technology, our children seem to have everything. But these elders, when they actually came here, they had to build every single penny for us. They had about 4, 5, 6 children. Yeah, they were in the factories night and day. And you know what? They did really, really well. I mean, they had real tough times. They had a lot of challenges when they came in this community. And you know what? Credit to them. God bless their souls. Amen. And the thing is, they did incredibly so much for this community in different ways and different forms.
And they may not have been educated in the mainstream education of what we know as a national curriculum, but by God, were they educated in streetwise and in terms of knowing what's really important. They knew their culture, they knew the importance of religion and the communal and the family ties. And, not only did they support their families here and try to make the best of things, but also back home as well. At the moment, I don't want to tar all the young people, but at the moment with the young people, it's all about, I'm all right, Jack.
Yeah.
As long as I'm okay, then as long as I get hello.
Hello, Dr. Sally.
Speaking, yes.
Hi, Gurinder Joseph.
Hi, Gurinder. Just give me a moment. We're just wrapping up the previous topic, and I'll bring you in. Thank you.
Sure.
And so we've lost a huge number of community elders, really, and they've really played a real good part in establishing and giving us a foundation of hence why, where we find ourselves to where we are as well. So,
and we have to be thankful to them.
Absolutely.
For putting us here today.
No, most definitely. I'm just going to read a few comments before we talk about another topic that Gurinder has kindly called in. The other one is, just going to read a few. Tariq Ali said, Botox does wonders, Tariq. So that's fine. And
I share my secrets with you.
No, absolutely. So there's a few other, an elder generation held the community together. That's just one of the comments that has come through
absolutely.
as well. So I'm going to now bring Gurinder Singh in. Gurinder Singh, as you know, he holds a number of positions. He's on the West Midlands Police Crime Commissioner Board. He's also part of a anti-extremist sort of hate group as well. And I've got him kindly to talk about the incident that you may have all seen gone viral, where a young Sikh lad at the end of the school day was picked up and bullied by 2 or 3 kids for none other than being Sikh. And we don't know the full story. We don't know the full context. So first of all, welcome Gurinder for taking time out onto Radio Aapki Awaaz. Are you able to give us a bit of context or background as to what happened with that incident last week, please?
Well, what well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. What we do know is that there was a video which went viral, which showed a young Sikh lad being beaten up by a couple of other lads, and there was obviously others who were filming it, and that was a video that went viral. And a young Sikh lad who had his normally wears a badka, gutti, so uncut hair, and within the community, so something like that is taken very seriously. The thing with stuff like this is you don't know the whole story and you don't know exactly when it was, things like that. So when it went viral, it obviously caused a lot of outrage and a lot of concern within the community, and there was a bit of a backlash to that, and people calling for action by the school and by the police and other authorities and things. So there was a lot of activity on social media straight away. The school, the young people's school, Charlton School in Telford, put a statement out, and they confirmed that they were aware of the incident, that it had taken place on Friday, 13th of November, which is actually a couple of weeks before the video actually came out.
Okay.
And the students were on the way home from school. Obviously there were people from that particular school. The school said that they have, as soon as they became aware of it, they took immediate action, appropriate action, and issued sanctions to people where they were necessary. And they also confirmed that the police were investigating as well, and that they were working with the police. The police also put out a statement saying that they were also aware of the incident and were investigating it. And as part of that, I understand they were looking into whether it was a hate crime.
Yes.
And there's specific criteria that they would have to look into before that they would classify it as a hate crime.
Sure. Gurinder, we were talking about, the elder community that came here in the 50s, 60s, and they experienced racism. But do you actually think that, you would have seen that in our younger generation who are still in school, that they would experience something similar to what that young lad experienced?
You're absolutely right, and this is we've got our kids now. I was born here,
yes,
grew up here, and saw things like this in the past, and then we've got our kids now, and we don't expect this to be happening now. We expect that society should be, things should be much better now in this country, and our children shouldn't be having to go through the same things we were having to go through, or a previous generation were having to go through back then. But one thing we do have to understand though is that sometimes this isn't, this is essentially is young kids picking on another child for being different.
Absolutely.
And that can actually happen in any circumstances.
Yes.
And the thing here is the important thing here. There's two things. One is what is the school doing
Absolutely.
And secondly, so this was the nature of this, and the reason why it caused so much alarm within the Sikh community was this is a young practicing Sikh who kept his hair,
Yeah.
and then to see him bullied and attacked in that way with his hair then opened up, the importance of religion and those faith symbols within religion. And these things are common, they're not just specific to the Sikh community, but to all
Absolutely.
all faiths. Whatever faith you are, the importance that is attached to your faith symbol. So that needs to be understood. And then, so the thing here is my own personal view is things have moved on a lot.
Yes.
And we see a lot less of this kind of thing. But we also know hate crime is at an all-time high.
Absolutely.
When we look at police figures, after the Brexit referendum, there was a big peak, and then every time, that there's a terrorist incident or any kind of thing like that, not just here anyway, we know that hate crime increases. And we also know that there are particular communities who are targeted more than others. So, we know that the Muslim community is a big target of that. We know in some parts of the country there are some triggers which mean that the Jewish community becomes a target.
Yeah.
So hate crime, is increasing. And I think the important thing here is that as a society, whilst these kind of incidents are not as common as they perhaps once were, every single one is still one too many.
No, absolutely, most definitely.
It's what are we doing as a society then to make sure that actually we're teaching our young people the right values, giving them the right education, the right knowledge about people who are different to them, so that that they won't pick on other people, they won't beat them.
But I must say, Gurinder, the Sikh community really handled the whole situation well. Am I right in saying that what they did do was they offered the young lads and their parents to come and learn more about Sikhism and a tour around the Gurdwara, just for them to be better informed about the religion?
Well, I mean that was one of the reactions. Absolutely.
Sure.
And within Telford, there were people within the Sikh community who reached out in that way.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely the right response, because a lot of time this is about people not knowing, not understanding people who are different to them. But yeah, within the Sikh community also there were all kind of other reactions as well. Some of them which weren't so helpful.
Okay.
The other thing with something like that, I'm a school governor and work on the strategic police and crime board and
Yes.
other forums. And one of the things with stuff like this is when incidents happen like this, and again they can happen in any community, it's really important that we understand these are young people. We understand where there are schools involved, where the police is involved, and these things have to be taken into context of the local community. So schools are pretty much at the centre of the local community, and they reflect what goes on within that community. So when when something like this happens, the solutions also have to be found within those communities as well.
Yeah.
And we've got to, we also always have to give space for people in those communities to come together and find those solutions.
No, well said, Gurinder.
With the help of the school and the local authority councillors and other people who can help in these circumstances. That's really important. And whilst those of us who are sitting on the outside, I'm in Sandwell, all I saw was the video,
Yeah.
and my reaction. And countless hundreds of other people. In this day and age with social media, something like this goes all around the world.
Absolutely.
And it's really easy to then react on social media with anger.
Yes.
And that anger is not always the best thing
No.
to solving something like this. And sometimes, anger is justified, absolutely. And sometimes, the authority, the police service and others will react differently when they see that there is a level of anger within communities.
No, well said.
That's fine, but we also have to then allow local community to come together and find those solutions. And a big thing within that is finding ways to increase understanding of each other.
Most definitely.
And absolutely, there is so much going on in the world at the moment. the more we can do to encourage understanding and to teach people about different religions and cultures, and encourage them to go into our gurdwaras, our mosques, our temples, and churches to actually see and experience them for themselves. The more young people understand that and see with their own eyes, the less likelihood of somebody giving them false information.
Most definitely. Gurinder, I've got a guest in the studio as well, Tariq Khan. He's got a question and a comment for you.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're just going, hi Gurinder, you're right.
Yes, good.
Yeah, good to talk to you. I mean, I've heard your views and opinions, and what the experience that you guys have been through, and I credit to you the way you stood up to this. And I mean, for me, there's a couple of points here. Absolutely agree. Irrespective of race, religion, gender, background, there's just no place for any kind of discrimination, racism, or even hate crimes. And the thing is that from my own perspective, that political, business leaders, educational institutions, what you just said, they need to be taking more of a critical role in this, and they need to be more robust with their legislations from a local, regional, and I suppose a central government perspective in terms of applying that across the board. And like I say, irrespective whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Sikh, whether you're from the Jewish community, it needs to be consistent across the board. And we want cohesive communities. We don't want divisive communities. We're in the 21st century. And the thing is, these things used to happen in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I'm past 50 now, so we used to experience these things. Our parents used to experience these things. We should not be experiencing this kind of thing in this day and age. And the thing is, there needs to be more robust, real strict policies, legislation around it. Like I said, from a local to a central government perspective.
Absolutely right. And a couple of things to pick up there. One is when something like this happens, it doesn't matter what the background, what the religion, what the culture of that young person is. These are young people. What they say in our communities, but just I understand you.
Yeah, absolutely.
A young person is everybody's child. Yeah. And if we should always be outraged whenever it happens to anybody. And that reaction, one of the things I saw, which was really heartening, was on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. There's a lot of people who were not Sikhs, who were equally outraged. And I think that's right. And we should all, it doesn't matter what the background of the individual is. If something is wrong, we should say it's wrong, whatever the circumstances. The other thing I'd say is, we need more robust reaction. We need education, and we need robust systems to deal with these things as well when they happen. But the other thing we need, and how do we make sure that happens? Part of that solution, I think, is making sure that there are people from all of our communities represented on the governing bodies.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Yeah.
So one of the first things I did was I looked at the governing body of that school, and it's an academy and a multi-academy trust, and I looked at the government, the multi-academy trust, their directors, and there's not much diversity there.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really important, and I think it's important that these bodies, the public bodies, spending public money, which we're entrusting our children to be educated within, they should be run by representative groups of people. But it's not just on the school or the multi-academy trust to do that. It's down to us as well.
Sure, most
we
definitely.
need to put ourselves forward.
Absolutely. It works both ways,
I'm gonna volunteer my time. I'm gonna give up some of my time to help make these schools and institutions better. And the more people that do that, the more people who get involved. Once you're sitting around the table, well, you are then the people, the governors are then the people who are deciding the policies. What will be taught within that school, how is behaviour dealt with, how is discipline dealt with, all these things. You are then making those decisions. So, we can't just say it should be done. We've got to step up and help do it as well.
Works both ways,
my
doesn't it?
experience is, as I said, school government, is actually when people come forward and actually want to take part, they are welcome with open arms. And we need to see more of that.
Thank you.
The other thing I'd pick up on said, he talked about community, and I think the other thing we need to also do is, one of the things I say often is, my community, I'll tell you what my community is the road I live on, is the park opposite my house,
Yeah.
is the church on the corner, is the mosque at the bottom of the road, is the high street where my business is the Gurdwara I visit. That's my community.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well said.
And if we all had that kind of mindset, then actually, things would be much more cohesive, much more inclusive. And that's kind of, I think, where we need to get to.
No, most definitely. Thank you, Gurinder. Really appreciate you taking time out today and give us a real insight from a person from a Sikh background. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. I hope you found Gurinder's insight into this a lot more powerful and puts everything into context as well. That we didn't expect it to be in this, but the way they actually responded, I think, shows that they're a mature community, and you will have some loud people that are angry, but they were supportive rather than trying to hang them to dry. Absolutely. And I think we've got a lot to be learned from there as well. So I'm just going to read a few comments and then we'll move on to the vaccine. I know you were sort of talking about that. So Zafran Khan, Tariq Khan, he works both ways. You buy him a tie and he will buy you back. Absolutely.
I'll wait for that one.
Zafran, what are you doing, man? Javed, what's your view of the vaccine that is being developed and rolled out? We're just about to come on to that. Would you have volunteered for it? Interesting question. Elder generation, we stand together with our Sikh community. Well said, Zafran. Asariq, he works for the company behind the vaccine. Muhammad Khalid, salam alaikum. Tariq and Ali, wa alaikum salam. Tariq Khan was one of our best counsel. I hope he stands again. We really need him now. Ask if he would be considering back into politics. Ali, but you can take the Fifth Amendment on that one if you wish. And that's it.
Interview with Piers and it's this morning Michael Gove.
Oh, God, yeah.
You want to be Prime Minister?
That's right. So, I think the question now we're going to focus on is the vaccine, really.
Vaccines.
Vaccines, that's right, because there are roughly 7 vaccines that we know of that the government has put an order of 357 million pound worth of orders with these 7 companies. The 3 that we know that are close to getting a license or about to apply for it are obviously Pfizer, Moderna, which is another biotech company, and AstraZeneca / collaboration with Oxford University, and they have seen a success rate of over 90%, 94, 95%. So great. And for vaccines, that is great. Normally, the average sort of success rate or the prevention rate is around, 60, 70%. But to have something like 94, 95%, albeit you may have to take it twice, but still that shows the huge amount of money, research and effort that has been put into getting these vaccines into license and market. And the other thing I will say is, one of the arguments that people are saying is those people that are against the vaccine that normally it takes 3, 4, 5 years plus to get a vaccine, but here it's done within a year or so. But what they have done is they have worked day and night, and everything was fast tracked. Normally, when you do some research, you send it off. It can take many weeks, months before someone analyzes or picks it up. But here, the energy and the onus was such, because it was such a public health issue, everything was just fast tracked and real effort was put into just speeding everything up. I hope that sort of explains something. But your thoughts about the vaccines, and hopefully maybe just after Christmas, New Year, these will be readily available.
Yeah, I think it's a positive move in the right direction. I mean, can you hear me? No.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's a positive move in the right direction. That's my own view. Obviously, like you said, there's a lot of people out there that are a bit apprehensive. They don't want to go through it, and some people want it. There's a lot of research happening. I only know as much as what the media tell us. yeah, in terms of the results and all the rest of it. And like you said, there's about 7, and 3 have come to the forefront. And, the efficacy rates seem to be very good too.
Very good.
Yeah, and yes, there is that thing that, oh my God, medicines take years and years. You and both of us are in the pharmaceutical sector. From what we know of being in there for many, many years, that medicines take many years. For research to come through, and billions of dollars or pounds actually are put into the research. But obviously, there seems to have been a massive focus, in terms of the epidemic that's happened, and rightly so. And let's hope, like we say, that when these vaccines do come out, that they do. Part of the job, most of the job, that we need. But I just wanted to say something that I never had a flu jab ever.
Oh, really?
I can't remember. Maybe when I was little, I don't know if they were around then. But the thing is, I never had a flu jab ever until 2 weeks ago for the first time. And you know what? I was really reluctant. Always. Including, I had a chat with Tariq too and a few others. And I said, you guys, and my son said to me, Dad, just have it. And I thought, okay, my immune system is fine. But you know what? You can't be sure, but it can only help you. So what I did, I went and had the flu jab. And the thing is, thank God, alhamdulillah, I'm fine. And, but people are scared of side effects, aren't they, with medication? Whether you know about medicine, whether you don't know about medicine, as patients, as human beings, we always know there's some kind of side effect, isn't there? You can't be sure about any medication, and no medication is perfect.
Yeah, and there's so many conspiracy theories about, there's going to be a chip in there, and they're trying to control us, and, the whole conspiracy theorists are really having a field day at the moment. But you got to understand, people are dying, especially the vulnerable, especially the people that are from a BAME community, especially people that are obese or have long-term conditions such as diabetes as well. So, these sort of
and it's the vulnerable and the elderly that they say that they're going to target first, and rightly so.
And key workers as well.
Key workers.
And we also know, Tariq, that they've appointed a vaccine czar by the name of Nadeem Zahawi. And there were talks over the weekend that unless you can prove that you've had a vaccine, you won't be allowed to enter spaces such as cinemas, restaurants, pubs, clubs, that sort of football stadiums as well. But I think Michael Gove has sort of calmed some of those fears down, because people were saying, well, we want to go to these, but we don't want the vaccine, But I suppose at the same time, you got to understand that there's a real chance that you're going to spread it on. This vaccine is all about preventing.
They want a certain amount of the community, don't they? They want 70-80% at least, something like that. Yeah. To basically prevent this disease spreading, in the future too.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And also, Tariq, talking about the whole COVID situation, we know that today is the last day of the national lockdown. So that's not to say that you're going to go out partying. No.
Me and Ali aren't going to do that, promise you, after tonight.
No. The most that we will be doing is, just to remind you, is Tariq's birthday in a couple of days' time. So we're going to be sort of munching on some of these, just to sort of, celebrate in best way possible. But we will put maybe the celebrations on ice until a better time.
Absolutely.
But what I was going to say was that, even though we're in a lockdown, tomorrow, each part of the country will be under a different tier system, and we also know that 99%.
That depends a lot on the vote tonight.
Well, it will go through. It will
just
go
about.
through. Yeah. So for those of you that are sorry, we're, at the moment we're live on air.
Unless someone knows what the results are.
If you know what the result is, if it's taken place, please do let us know, and we will read it out here live onto the radio for the benefit of the hundreds and thousands that are listening as well. And the reason I was talking to you, say that 99% of the country is still under some tier, whether it's tier 2 or tier 3. Here in West Midlands, we are in tier 3. And you may think, what's the difference between a lockdown and tier 3? And I'll tell you some of that. I know, I'm not overly religious, but, I'm sort of leaning that way. I know places of worship, mosque, gurdwara, synagogues, they will be open from tomorrow as well for, congregational worship, albeit with social distancing, and that's a huge relief because people like to, meditate, worship, and just to be in that sort of good being for their mental, health as well. And the other ones are also your non-essential shops. I know, your clothing shops, your many other shops, your barbers were closed. Now they can open from tomorrow as well.
I'm going to tomorrow, actually.
Are
I'm
you?
going to have a haircut tomorrow.
Yeah, and the other place that you'll be visiting tomorrow is also the gym.
The gym, absolutely.
We're on the.
There you go.
We're
really happy with that.
But the sector that is still really deeply affected is the hospitality sector.
Yeah.
You know, with the pubs and the restaurants, really, that they aren't able to open really under tier 3, and they can only do the takeaway system as well. So they've been hit. Do you think they've been given the support that they actually need in order to remain closed? What do you think?
Well, that's why there's so much noise about this too, isn't there? About the hospitality sector, and they're saying if football stadiums are allowing in 2,000 fans, you know what? And we've got measures in place already. The thing is, why can't we? They're also now today talking about gyms. They're saying that gyms are opening and people come into close contact there too. So, and the restaurants, to be fair, some of them have been good, but then there've been some naughty ones too along the way too. But, and I think it's about that support. Yeah, they've outlined support packages, but is it enough? That's the question. And only time will tell. But unfortunately, what we're seeing is a lot of businesses going down under. That is the crux of it.
Guys, if you want to speak to Tariq about any of the topics, the number is 0121 682 9735. Talk about the businesses. What chance have these small businesses have when the likes of the Arcadia Group, the Topshop, the Burtons of this world, where they've got 13,000 employees. You've also had another big, brand, Debenhams, are also saying that they will actually be foreclosing. They weren't able to find another buyer, and 12,000 jobs are at risk as well. But look at the timing of it, Tariq. End of the lockdown, just on the brink of the New Year and Christmas. What sort of Christmas are they going to have?
It's terrible. It's devastating. It was absolute gobsmacked. But you know what? And it might sound a bit weird, but I'm not actually surprised this is all happening, because again it goes back to what measures, what packages have we got in place. And I know some people will say, oh, the government are doing as much as they can. And Rishi Sunak, I'll give him his credit where it's due. He has tried his best compared to a lot of his colleagues. That have come up and basically twiddle their thumbs and been all over the place. But obviously more needs to be done. You know what? It's devastating for those families at Christmas now. They're going to be unemployed going into New Year, and already the job market, we know, there's not much there at all. Even if you are skilled, even if you have got the knowledge, or
I agree. The last thing you want to be doing is at this time looking for a new job. It's very hard to, but I suppose you can retrain and maybe equip yourself into another arena. I know a lot of people that are sort of in the online business or are trading online. They are having a real field day.
Retail, you'll have I don't know. I mean, I'm just estimating 500 applications.
Absolutely.
300-400 applications for one job. I mean, that's where it's come to now. The economy is shrinking more and more.
So, but the question I would ask is, a lot of these people have been furloughed. The businesses are being closed. Why now? Because 80% of the wages have been paid by the government. Okay, there's still some, business rates that you still have to pay. But I just, to some reason, doesn't make sense. Why now? Because 8-9 months, the government has been paying most of the wages, if not all.
But then a lot of businesses, from my own opinion, I'm sure your viewers will have opinions, is that they've become reliant on the government to some extent. Some people some businesses have become reliant, which has put insecurity in some of those employees. Before this lockdown, they used to be thriving businesses. They used to be thriving small, medium businesses. And the thing is, I mean, and even the big businesses now, like you just mentioned, Arcadia, etc., even they've, fallen apart here. But, is it because they became dependent on the government? And they wanted more. And then they realised, oh, no, we don't need that many staff now. And we can get someone to do 3 jobs. Right? Get one person to do 3 jobs, 3 tasks. So, instead of having 3 people around. So it's things like that. It's about their mindset, where they are and what they're actually thinking for the next 12 months ahead.
Yeah, and what do you think about this tier system? Because I know Liverpool have done really well, whereby they were in the, I think they were in the tier 4 or tier 3, very top.
For some time.
And and all of a sudden, they've now, within 4 to 6 weeks, they've really turned things around now. So from being the very top tier 4, they've now come down to tier 2.
Well, apparently their test system has been very effective.
Very good. And I know they got someone we both are
they've really ramped it up.
They got people like Jurgen Klopp. They've got sort of personalities that people can relate to and people respect and look up to. They got them to, get themselves tested and get that message out into the community. And I know the army were out and the whole test and trace system was really effective in getting people, tested as well. And
I think they had good leadership too. The mayor that evolved a lot, didn't he? As well as the personalities that you mentioned, and the community came as one, didn't they? And the thing is, when you have one message going across the community, when you're all cohesive and united, that really helps, doesn't it? Of course.
Yeah, most definitely. So the number is 01216829735. I'm just going to read a few comments that you've been. So Rajesh Mehta, well done, my brother.
Hi, Rajesh.
Good show. Nice to see you both, Ali and Tariq, looking well. And that was from Nasser Ahmed. Tariq Iqbal, walaikum salam to you as well. Nasser Ahmed, gym for me too as well. So I think he's going back to the gym. Sajid Riyaz, wa shero.
How are you?
Mujahid Iqbal, assalamu alaikum, brother Ali and brother Tariq, walaikum salam. And Rajesh has hit the nail on the head. He goes, best team is Liverpool. So you've hit them.
We'll have a debate about that near the end.
Yeah. And also, walaikum salam, Pai Aftab. I know you've done some huge, amazing work to highlight. But at the moment, I did a show with a couple of guests from a couple of weeks ago, and would you know that we are the largest community in the UK, but we are not recognised as a separate Kashmiri identity. And simply because when we put our identity down, we put Pakistani down, or maybe Asian. And the way to do that is the census comes out every 10 years. The next one is out around, if I remember right, I think Aftab will know, I think it was February, March, if I remember. I think it was March. And when it comes out, you got to put down tick other, put down Kashmiri. And if we get tens, we should be getting at least 100,000. Because we estimate that we're around 600,000, 700,000 strong. We got to at least get 100,000 if we are to be taken seriously by the Office of National Statistics and the census as well. Because I know the Gypsy and the Irish community have got themselves a separate community, and they're only a fraction. They're only about 15-20% of the numbers that we are. So please, brother, there we are, March 21, 2021 as well. So thank you, brother Aftab. So our message is we're going to do a lot more about this. Radio Aapki Awaaz, myself, alongside with people like Aftab, we're going to do a lot more around this nearer the time and get that message out there. If we want to get the data and the statistics about our needs and our wants, we got to be recognised as a separate community.
I think having identity is positive. It's always positive. You know where you come from. You know your background. I think people are proud of it. Your identity. No one needs to belittle any other community or religion. But the thing is, identity is important to yourself. It's something individual to yourself, isn't it? Yeah. And I know this debate was going on 15, 16 years ago, even when I was in the council, and they were looking at that. So I'm really actually shocked and surprised that nothing's been done about that. I think about 15, 20 years ago, actually.
One thing I haven't noticed is over the last, probably, during this COVID era is that, normally we all used to be taught as BME community. The Asians, the blacks, we were all as lumped in one. But what I've noticed is people are now, beating the drum for their own, drill down community as well. So I know the black community now, under the Black Lives Matter movement, they want representation at the high level, and absolutely all for that as well. I know the Indian and the Sikh community are really pushing that. But from our point of view, from a Kashmiri point of view, who's our representative, who is actually talking of the interest and representation being such a high representation and the makeup of cities like Birmingham, you got Bradford, Dewsbury, you've got Slough.
Yeah.
No one's talking about representation of the Kashmiri community of that, and that's something that we also need to work on as well. That it's all very well to get the census, but we need to be
Absolutely.
as governors on the hospital boards,
Agreed.
on the CCD boards, at the council level, at the Commonwealth level. 2022. How many Kashmiris are on there? Big fat zero. So again, sorry, I've got a call coming through. Someone's come through. Assalamu alaikum. Please introduce yourself. You're live on air, please.
Assalamualaikum salam. My name is Councillor Raj Mehta from Telford, Sweden.
Oh, how are you, Raj Mehta? How are you? Okay,
Raj.
thank you.
I'm fine. I was just listening to your program with my brother Tariq.
Yes.
I'm with you today.
How are you,
Good here.
Rajesh? Keeping well?
I'm fine, Tariq. Yeah, you're doing well. Both of us are doing well. It's a good show.
Thank you.
Just wanted to give my support and my congratulations on. It's good to have these positive conversations.
No,
with
thank
brothers
you.
Like you in the community. So
Thank you,
just say
Rajesh.
well done, keep up the
Yeah.
good work.
And Rajesh, equally, you do a lot in the community too. I know in Telford with the faith groups, cultural groups, and you do a lot with all the different communities.
Well, in Telford, brother, if it's okay to say on your radio
Yeah.
station that we've developed an interfaith council.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not been a year yet. And we've got over 19 different communities on board.
Fantastic,
And
yeah.
everyone's working together and it's positive. Then bridges can't be built if we all just come together. And as
Absolutely.
you just rightly said a few minutes ago, identity is the key.
Yeah.
And if we respect each other's identity and organisations and faiths, the world will be a better place to live.
Absolutely. Beautifully said, Rajesh. Beautifully said, my
Come
brother.
together.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Rajesh. Do you want to say anything else? What's what you got? You live on air?
Just want to say well done and keep up the good work. And to all my brothers and sisters out there, listen, if we can ever support any one of you, please let us know. And please, I pray for my brother Tariq. He does a beautiful job. Still well in the council back in the day.
Thank you, Rajesh.
And he's
Thank you,
still
my
a good
brother.
community pillar to have on board.
Thank you.
Well done, God bless all.
Thank you. I only disagree with one thing with you and Ali. That Liverpool are not...
Hey, stopping you.
Don't worry, happy for
Thank you,
Lovely
Rajesh.
speaking to you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh. Cheers,
Thank you,
bye.
Mama.
Thank you. If you want to also come on the phone line, the number is 0121 682 9735. That was the lovely Rajesh come in and just talking
Mehta,
about Councillor Mehta talking about some of the work that they're doing in Telford, and obviously.
Remember your mic? Oh,
Yeah, there you go. Just bring that down a bit. There we are. Is that, will that stay?
so, yeah.
Yeah, so just talking about some of the messages. So the number is 0121 682 9735. Walaikum salam, Aftab, Zafran, Aston Villa is the best.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't think we're big fans of
I'm
VAR
converting
at the
from
moment.
Liverpool to Villa.
Don't worry, we'll get you switched back on. Aftab was saying March 21st, 2021 is when the census will be out. We'll give a chance to put our input in there. Asif Mahmood, excellent. Keep up the great work, lads. Javed Iqbal, Assalamu alaikum. MashaAllah, brothers. Always great to listen to you, wise brothers. MashaAllah, thank you, Javed Iqbal. Really appreciate that. Due to COVID rule, it is more harder to highlight the census, as I had planned a door-to-door campaign to educate our community, especially the elder generation. So please, everyone, do whatever you can to get the Kashmiri community recognized. Absolutely, Aftab. And if there's anything that you could do digitally or through social media, maybe at this time, until the new year when things maybe get, relatively back to normal, maybe, radio shows, social media, maybe that's the platform that we can get this, down to, and also maybe in our own language as well, Prior Aftab. I know a lot of people are elderly, अंग्रेजी ज़ुबान नहीं समझे, so अपनी ज़ुबान पर गल करनी पैसी उनकी पैगाम पहुंची जाए, and also use the mosques as well. So just to sort of say that as well. And Javed replied to Zafran, Aston Villa is the best Villa till I die. Oh God, yeah. So after yesterday's result, that won't be too long.
I think the performance, if you look at the performance, it's really good. And hopefully we can get the results there.
Yeah, no,
I wonder
absolutely.
what the score is at the moment with Liverpool.
Again, guys, where's all the Rajesh? Where are you, man? Where's all the Liverpool fans? If it's a bad result, don't tell me.
Please tell us.
No. If it's
I'm still a Liverpool fan inside.
yeah, no, only if they're winning.
Yeah, only if they're winning.
No, that's fine. And you know what? if I can, Tariq, normally at this time of the year,
Yeah.
I normally, through some family backing as well as some friends, I do, help out the vulnerable and the homeless
Yeah.
community. And this year has been really tough on the number of people that are reliant on food banks and homeless charities as well. To be out there, for genuine people, it's not a good position. But one thing I have seen is every Pelican Crossing traffic lights, every junction, there seems to be a homeless person now. I think it's almost become a business now rather than a genuine need.
Oh, I mean, the thing is, every time I see someone on the corner of Stratford Road, or Bosley Green, or even Bristol Road, or anywhere, wherever you go, Soul Road, the thing is, you feel for them, don't you? You feel for them. And the thing is, you don't want anyone suffering, in that way. But and there might be circumstances where some of them are looking at it as a business. When they're seeing a lot of shoppers on the high street, Stratford Road, Allenrock Road, and saying, "Oh, give me a pound, give me this." But how many can you give that to? Because people generally are suffering too. With everything going on with COVID. Like we said earlier on, people have lost jobs. Or the bills have gone up. Even food bills have gone up. Basically, children eating from home more than ever. And people working from home. Even that, and like I said, all these different factors don't help the situation, but it's very unfortunate out there. And I know the homeless agencies, like St. Basil's, Saifa, and even a lot of the guys that we know between us, and even Jimmy from Aspire, he's doing a lot on Rookery Road. Much. Nadeem does a lot on Rookery Road too, and from the Aspire perspective, and Ali, you're involved a lot too in the food bank. So we're doing a lot as a community, to be honest with you, and I know we can do even more. I can do even more. I look at myself and think I can do even more. Absolutely. And the thing is, I think that's what it's about, to try and get these people off those junctions, off those roads, and give them a bit of a quality of life.
It is tough out there, and again, but we have to separate those that are genuine for those that just want to feed their habit, or are doing it because they see it as an easy way to earn a bit of money as well. So I fully agree. So we've got about 5 minutes left, really. So if you want to get in touch, 01216829735. Alternatively, please give your messages. We had Eid cancelled. We had Diwali cancelled. Boris has now deliberately curtailed this lockdown short in order to be the great saviour and say, look, guys, we've had a tough year, but here is Christmas. What are your thoughts about that? Is the country ready to mix and put, COVID to one side for 5 days? Or was this all about a political point scoring and, saving grace on that front? What are your thoughts?
When Eid was cancelled, it was interesting because I know me and you had a chat, and I had a chat with a lot of family and friends. I said, it'll be interesting to see when Christmas comes, what will be the reaction then? And a lot of people said, Christmas will go ahead. But Diwali and Eid will be cancelled. And I'm not saying in any way or form that it's political, but what it does, again, it sends a wrong message out there. They need to be more clearer, the government, in what they've done. And the thing is, at the expense of lives, is it worth it? Absolutely. That's the question. Absolutely. What was it, 23rd to the 27th? Open it up. And then you've already got scientists saying that there's going to be a third wave into the new year. And the thing is it worth it? I don't know, of course we want to see our elderly, we want to see our families and friends, but again, it comes back to that point, one rule for one rule for another, and it's not nice. You need to be inclusive. We live in multicultural Britain, multicultural England, and we need to be respectful of that.
That point was made, and the response that I got from Boris Johnson was that, predominantly this is a Christian country. We have to try to, maintain as much as that sort of Christian spirit, and
Ali, we want to celebrate. We want to celebrate Eid. We want to celebrate Diwali. We want to celebrate Christmas. But there's a way of doing things. There's a way of sending that message out, like you just said. The thing is, but let's face it, Boris hasn't been the best, really, has he, in giving the festivity message across the board, has he, throughout the last 9 months? So from that perspective, it's been inconsistent, to be honest. and not inclusive.
Most definitely. We've got about a minute left now, and we're going to call it a day. But before we do that,
It looks like your result didn't come in.
Yeah, no, he did actually.
Did it?
Yeah. So,
Are they winning?
No.
What?
Tariq Chaudhry Saqib Razak. Tariq has done so much for our community. Great person, great personality, and a great neighbour. Aftab was saying Reds are the best. Absolutely. Javed Akhtar, big shout out to Tariq Saab for taking time out from his busy schedule to come out on the program.
I'm not busy at all, I promise you. I love coming here.
And wise advice. Javed Iqbal, Liverpool, and he's put a smiley face.
Has he put the result?
No, someone else has, who's a big Liverpool fan. You just don't know who is genuine, so if you can give absolutely. Well said, Mujahid. Yasser Sadiq, who is just lives and sleeps at Liverpool. He goes, you lot can talk. You needed a penalty at the end of the game. It's 0-0 by the way at the moment.
Oh, okay, that's a good result. That's good.
And one of your other, what's going on? My old boy-year-old are coming. Chaudhry Mittu has also joined as well.
Mittu, lovely to hear from you.
Absolutely. And Mr. Rata himself as well, Muhammad Khan. Kaise Janab, Teek, Seshatik. Islam.
Mittu, they lost our auntie on Boya Road.
Okay.
Yeah, Haji Tariq. So afsoos
to them as well. No, absolutely. Yeah. Most definitely. So we've lost a huge. We spent about the first 15 minutes of this show giving a tribute to all the pillars of the community who have passed away. Absolutely. Not only the last month as well, but over the last 9 months. So they're proper heroes as well. And the world is not going to be the same as well. And the fact that they passed away so suddenly, that's what's really hitting.
Last couple of months.
You know what I mean? It's been a tough one.
Tsunami.
That's right. Yeah. Mohammed Khan Islam, host, guest, and all viewers from Channel Live Rata 111 Birmingham, UK. Absolutely. Walaikum salam, Mohammed Khan. Mangad Hussain, how are you? The word homeless is a very complex issue. Someone who's got a real insight is Javed Iqbal.
Yeah, he has.
The need for help.
Javed's done a brilliant job. Yeah, with the rest of the team, they've done a wonderful job.
The need for help is essential at whatever level possible. Most of these people are victims at some stage of life. The food need has grown massively. MashaAllah, community is doing a great job. And it's every community, the Muslim community, the black community, the Sikh community with their langar as well. And obviously the homeless as well. So Mohammed Khan, thank you. Chaudhry Mittu, thanks brother. Mujahid, I think you need more time on the show. People are just coming on. Unfortunately, we would love to, but we have got the next guest, Basha. I didn't know Ikram. Yeah, Basha's coming, and obviously Ikram is here as well. So we're not here to take anyone else's time as well. I know this gentleman, but forgot his name. Ex-councillor Tariq Khan. Very prominent. Very. How long were you a councillor for, Tariq?
I was fortunate to be a councillor here for 18 years.
18 years.
18 years. And
long
thanks
time,
to
long
all
time.
that community out there.
Yeah, they still remember.
Yeah, they still remember.
Fondly.
Irrespective of what I did.
That was before austerity.
Yeah. No, I'm really grateful to everyone out there.
No
and
problem.
You know what? It's been great coming on here. And you know what? I can't see anyone, but hearing from them, you know what? It's very emotional too.
Yeah.
It's very sensitive. You know what? And especially with what's happened in the last 9-10 months here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the roots. We were born here. We were bred here.
Absolutely.
And you can never forget your roots. And you can't forget the people that you grew up with and those elders that have passed away. So, you know what? It is a sensitive time, a very emotional time.
Absolutely. There's that old saying, isn't it? You can leave Alam Rock, but Alam Rock will never leave you. That's right. Yeah.
And we're proud.
That's right. Absolutely. So, Sheikh Saab, Assalamu alaikum from Sheikh Sahab Sajabal said. Walaikum salam. Mohammed Khan, thank you, sir. Hope you find that useful. Chaudhry Saqib Razak, I'm the chairman for the CLP for Stretchford and North Yardley. If I can help Tariq, please. Me. You're getting a job left, right, and centre.
Trying to get Ali in, not me guys.
Still a councillor by DNA by Tariq Ali as well. Mujahid, mashallah, very humble person and an inspirational leader. We talked about his Spice of Fraz about 10-15 minutes ago.
Yeah, we were.
And he's just given you a very, a huge glowing reference, shall I say. So we are now, unfortunately, in fact, we've just over the hour by 4 minutes now. We covered a huge amount of topics, really. This is going to be your last appearance now for 2020. What's your Christmas message, Mr. Tariq Khan?
I thought you were going to call me Citizen Khan there.
Yeah, go on.
What's your Christmas message?
What's your final message of 2020, really, if I can?
I mean, it's been, oh my God, 2020. You know, when 2020 came on the 1st of January, we thought, wow, 2020, just the four numbers, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Little did we know it was going to be one of the most challenging, devastating years, not just of where we live, but globally. Yeah, it was going to have an impact on the whole international community. And you know what, like I said earlier on, those that have left us from it, and I mean, across, in terms of humanity-wise, across the globe, it's so unfortunate. You know, may God, irrespective again from whichever race, religion, you know, they come from, you know, God bless their souls. That's Amen. You know, and the thing is, we have to, or I think we have to unite. We have to be even stronger. And you know what? There is light at the end of the tunnel. Inshallah, there's light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to, like you said, Ali, we just have to be safe. We have to be sensible, use our common sense. Yeah, and the message that you gave at the start. And, you know, let's all stick together to the plan. Let's go leave this year, go into New Year in a positive way. Yeah, and that's it. That's all I say, you know, and unite. And let's hope for a healthy year next year, inshallah.
Absolutely. You will get my ugly mutt here next week as well, Tuesday, 8 o'clock. If you want to be part of my show, please just give me a direct message and we will arrange that as well. Mohammed Khan, thank you, sir. And what I would say to you, Mohammed Khan, is along with Afsab, we need to get the Kashmiri identity in the census next year as well. And you've got with your platform, really use that to drive that nearer the time as well. Apart from that, you know, I know we are still in that sort of relaxed mode thing. The lockdown is over. Far from it. We are now in tier 3, and that is not too far from the lockdown. Please continue to maintain social distancing. Wash your hands, keep your 2-meter distance as well, and wear a face mask whenever you venture outside as well. Until next week, God bless. Look after yourselves and each other as well. Thank you.